Hey everyone, my name is Guy and I've been living with severe tinnitus and hearing loss for over a decade now. If you're interested in the Phonak Audeo Sphere Infinio hearing aids, you are in the right place. A couple of weeks ago I did a full review of the Phonak Audeo Sphere Infinio and you can watch the full review right here. In this video, you will learn how my experience has been to live with these hearing aids day after day for the past months. I collected a bunch of questions I received from you and a bunch of topics that I know everybody cares about when we are talking about new hearing aids. In this video, I will cover all of them, and as usual, it's from my own perspective, someone that really needs the hearing aids to actually function every day. I will cover things like how my speech comprehension has been for the past months, how I use the Sphere function, the Sphere AI function that really helps with speech clarity, how these hearing aids affect my tinnitus. I was actually surprised myself as well, and many other topics. So let's jump in. Okay, let's start with speech comprehension, which is probably the first thing you're thinking about after watching my review. I can be kind of bad and summarize it really easily and say that it's been great, but I really want to give you more details. Let's start with the obvious, which is noisy environment, right? It's really been an awesome experience walking into a restaurant, having a conversation, and not having to focus on people's lips like that, and not having to ask people again and again, what did you say? Now, it's not perfect. There are moments where there are like external noises that happening at the same time, and sometimes I will miss a sentence or I will miss a word, and I definitely ask for clarification, but it's down to the level which is normal for everybody else. Meaning that I'm asking people to repeat themselves once in a while, once in a conversation or twice in a long conversation, so it's nothing like it used to be. If you are having problem with noisy environments, one of the biggest things that people will tell you or not tell you is that the flow of the conversation is really bad, right? Because you have to stop every one or two sentences and ask for clarification. So the flow of the conversation is just not good, right? With these hearing aids, I can tell you that I do have to stop once in a long time, but the flow of the conversation is good. And I feel that people are enjoying having a conversation with me because they don't have to stop all the time and clarify something. Now, I will give you more examples later in the video, but it's really not just noisy environments. It's other situations or environments that before were just really hard to have a conversation in, and now I'm doing much better. For example, driving in a car and having a conversation while we are driving. Or even in my own house or in a store when there's some kind of a noisy appliance next to you making a lot of noise. That used to be so challenging for me. Now I can have a conversation without any problems. So it's really not just the restaurant and coffee shops and these kind of environments. It's really other environments where speech was challenged. So all in all, again, it's really not perfect. You will have situations where you will have multiple noises coming in and you will have a problem understanding something and you will ask for clarification. But the number of times that I'm doing this now comparing to before is just day and night. Now let's talk about the Sphere function for a second. In my review, I told you that you can go to the AutoSense program and modify that program, and by doing that you can create a manual spheric program. But after a few of you asked me about this and I tried to reproduce it myself with a couple of people, we saw that while it's working for me, it was not working for other people. So I want to clarify something. As I will show you here, you really have to be in that situation when the AutoSense program activates the spheric function by itself. When that happens, that's when you want to go and adjust the program and save it as a new program. There are a few things to pay attention to that will show you that you are doing this correctly. But I want you to really understand that you really need to be in an environment where the AutoSense program will activate the sphere in function by itself. That is a condition that must be met. So you can go into a noisy coffee shop just like I did here, and I'm going to leave the audio for you guys to hear the level of noise while there was speech around me. So have a listen for a second. So I'm adjusting the program again. Yes, I'm doing this again. So first of all, I don't think that the equalizer presets really matter. I mean, I was switching this to surrounding or speech, but I don't think that matters. However, pay attention that the application set the noise reduction to pretty high, and the speech focused is more toward the narrow speech focus. This is what the app did when I tried to modify the AutoSense program. I did not change this yet. Now pay attention closely to the default name that the application created. Of course, I can now go and change this name, but the name that the application created is spheric speech. That is your second sign that you're doing this correctly and you're getting a spheric program. If you do not see a spheric speech in the name of the program, if you see something like calm situation or speech in noisy environment, but if you do not see spheric speech right there, you need to start all over again. So now you can see that the new program is created, and you can definitely see that the time remaining on the hearing aids dropped to 6 hours. You can see now that you have that information icon under the number of hours left on your hearing aids. When you click on that, you will get an explanation from Phonak that explaining to you why the number of hours is much less than before and how they recommend that you use this program. So basically, these are the steps that you have to take, and you definitely can create this manual program, but just make sure that you manage the usage of this program, or at least have the charger with you in case you want to sneak in like 15 minutes charge. Now let's talk about how I use the manual program, because I do use it quite often. So basically, there will be situations where the sphere function is not going to be activated automatically. Normally, the AutoSense program, the automatic program of Phonak, will sense that you have maybe noise around you and speech at the same time. And when that happens, it will activate the sphere function automatically. This will easily happen in coffee shops and restaurants and places like that. But there are places where it will not happen and you will benefit from the sphere function. So let me give you a couple of examples. One of my biggest frustrations so far has been to go into a coffee shop and go into the drive-thru and trying to communicate with the people that are taking my order over the speaker outside. It doesn't matter how much I raise the volume on my hearing aids, or if I stick my head outside the window, it just didn't matter. If there's a little bit of noise, cars passing through, or whatever noise that happens around you at that time, and I was done for it. I would ask them, "Can you repeat that? I didn't hear you. Your speaker doesn't work. What's going on?" You've probably been in this situation too, and it's really frustrating. This is exactly where I use the sphere function. I get to that speaker, I activate the sphere function, and I'm like a king now. I can have the conversation, no problems. Another example is being outside when it's really windy. I walk my dog on a daily basis. Where I live, it's often windy in the afternoons. So walking with the dog and somebody's passing by and saying something to me, I'm like, "Can you repeat that, please?" However, if I activate the sphere function while I'm on those walks when it's windy outside, no problem. I can hear very, very well. So this is another example where I manually activate the sphere function on purpose, preventing the frustration of trying to communicate with people outside. The next question is, did these hearing aids affect my tinnitus, and if so, in what way? This actually took me by surprise because I've been using hearing aids for years now, right? It's not like I wasn't using hearing aids and started using hearing aids and there's a big difference. No, in my case, I've been using hearing aids for many, many years, so I did not expect my tinnitus to change. What I've experienced during the last couple of weeks is that there are definitely times where my tinnitus is much weaker than normal. It's not just being weaker, it's also reducing the kind of sounds. So basically, my tinnitus has at least 3 different sounds at any given time. And during the past couple of weeks, I noticed that one of those sounds is kind of gone or almost gone. Now, I will say that stress overrides everything. So if I had a stressful day for whatever reason, that brings tinnitus back to normal and nothing else matters. But if I did not experience any kind of significant stress, my tinnitus seems to be just weaker and I seem to be losing one of the sounds, which I'm very happy to, of course. If you ask me what is causing this, my only guess based on my knowledge and experience is that these hearing aids just observe more sounds. And because my brain doesn't have to make the same amount of effort as before, because it's hearing better, I'm hearing more sounds, I don't have to make the same amount of effort as before to understand speech. I'm able to have a flowing conversation much easier now. I think all of those things together combine into less effort on my brain and more hearing sounds naturally. And I think this is the reason why my tinnitus is kind of lower and I'm hearing less tinnitus sounds now. I'm going to be focused on Bluetooth connectivity now. I think there are 2 groups of people in the audience right now. One group that is already been using the recent models of Phonak and is kind of used to very good Bluetooth connectivity, and the other group is people that are not using the recent models of Phonak. Now, why am I saying that there's these 2 groups? If you've been using any of the last 2 generations of Phonak hearing aids, you're already used to having 2 active Bluetooth connections at the same time, and you're already used to connect to TVs and computers and phones directly with nothing between you and the device that you're connecting. So no streamers, no connect clips, no nothing like that. So for you guys, all I can say is that now Bluetooth is stronger, it's better, the sound quality is better, but it's the same experience. Now, if you are currently using a different brand of hearing aids, you are simply in for a good surprise. The Phonak hearing aids, and specifically the Sphere hearing aids, are going to give you Bluetooth connectivity that until now you could just dream about. We are talking about the quality of the sound and the strength of the connection. Like I was just saying, you can literally walk all around your house or different places and not lose the connection and maintain good quality connection. You can also now connect to 2 different devices at the same time, and you can pair your hearing aids up to 8 different devices. That means that you can connect to maybe 2 TVs, 2 computers, a tablet and a phone, which is like I think 6 connections, and have 2 of these connections active at the same time. And in my review, I give examples of exactly how this works, so you can watch that section of the review and see exactly what I mean. And I think this pretty much summarizes the Bluetooth connectivity topic. I'm going to quickly cover battery life because I did cover that in my review, but I can tell you again that I really have no problem finishing full days on one charge from really early in the morning to very late at night. But I want to clarify that if I manually activated the Sphere function, I make sure to switch off of it into the AutoSense program when I'm done with that situation. So for example, if I was trying to order from a coffee shop, from the drive-through speaker, and I activated the sphere function, after a few minutes I can switch back off to the AutoSense program. By doing that, I make sure that the hearing aids are going back to the normal program when I don't need the sphere function. And doing so, I always finish full days with no problems. Now, I did have one day when I used the sphere function for like a few hours. That was a meeting that I had to participate in, and it was pretty much like 3 hours. But using a charger, I just snuck in like really 15-20 minutes of charge, and I was good for the rest of the day. Remember that the charger holds charges with it without being connected to the power, right? So all I had to do literally is just place my hearing aids while I was driving back home for 15-20 minutes, and when I got back home, I was good to go. After I showed the size of these hearing aids, I got some questions directly asking me if the size really doesn't matter. I'm using the hearing aids right now, and I will literally take off my glasses and show you the hearing aids right here. The size doesn't matter. I mean, again, if you're someone with small ears, the size might matter for you. The hearing aids may press on your ear and may cause some discomfort, but I'm using glasses and I have no problem with these hearing aids, and it's been now pretty much 1 month and I'm still okay with that. Okay guys, what I'm going to show you now is a quick tip on how to improve the sound quality of your hearing aids when you're connected to a Windows machine. Now, I'm assuming that very similarly, you could do the same thing on a Mac computer, but I don't have one to show you right now, so I'm going to focus on Windows. Basically, you can see that when I connected my hearing aids using Bluetooth to the computer, you can see them here as a device under the Bluetooth and devices. You can see that for me, it only says connected audio. Remember that the Phonak hearing aids have 2 functions in them. There's a microphone that is somewhere around here that is allowing you to do phone calls and use the microphone on your hearing aids to speak while you're doing phone calls on your phone. And the second function, of course, is to hear sounds through your hearing aids, through the receiver. However, when you're connecting to a Windows machine, you do not want that microphone function to work on your hearing aids as long as you have a dedicated microphone. If you do have a dedicated microphone, what you want to do, like I've done here, is disable the microphone function of the hearing aids and just receive sound to your hearing aids, and that way the quality of the sound that you hear is going to be much better. Now let me show you how I do that. In the Windows taskbar, right around here, there's a microphone symbol. You can right click on that symbol and choose Sound Settings. When you get to Sound Settings, you can scroll all the way down until you see More Sound Settings. You will click on that, and let me minimize that window here and focus only on this window. In this small window, there's a recording tab and a playback tab. You will notice that under recording, you can see your Phonak hearing aids. For me right now, they are disabled because that's what I'm going to show you how to do. You would right click on this. For you, it's going to be actually working. Let me just do this quickly, but it may impact my recording, so bear with me. So basically what you have to do is come to the recording tab and disable the Phonak hearing aids on the recording side. That will disable the microphone function of the hearing aids, which will only leave the sound, the headset function of the hearing aids, which allowing you to hear sound in a better quality. And you can see that when I go to the playback tab, you can see the Phonak hearing aids functioning as headphones. And this is my default output device on my computer. I don't have speakers. My speakers are my hearing aids. This way you would get much better quality of sound into your hearing aids. So I know that this may be too much for some of you because maybe I'm a little bit technical here, but I just wanted to show you that if you have a dedicated microphone, this is a really simple way to improve the sound quality that you get into your hearing aids. I really hope that you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, please share it with other people that can benefit from it, and please like it and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Also, please let me know in the comments below if you're considering these hearing aids and I didn't cover something that you are interested to know about these hearing aids. Ask me whatever you want in the comments and I will try to respond as soon as I can. Don't forget to check our Tinnitus and Hearing Health playlist that you can see over here. There's a lot of really interesting stories in that playlist, so check this out. And please check my website. I'm trying to enhance the website with really special things for you guys. I'm gonna add really special hearing aids deals that have really big discounts that you guys can access. And I'm gonna include much more information pretty soon. But it's all taking me time, so it's gonna be available gradually.